Ladies and... Oh, whoa. Okay. We've got some reverb. Hopefully... I don't know if you guys can hear that. Do I sound echoey? That's... All right, that's... Okay. I believe that this is... Maybe that'll fix it. No. Check. Okay, that's not going to work for me. Oh my. Why is there always something messed up? Let's see. That sounds fun. So it's just in my own head. That's fine. Why not? Good Lord. Maybe that. Okay, let me see if that fixes it. Check. No. Oh, man. I'm not going to be able to talk like that. It's fine. We'll just, we'll push that. Good Lord. Why can I not manage to get this show just to always work? It always seems to be something. Welcome to the show, everybody. Julia says, just take off your headset. That would work too. But then if somebody wants to call into the drunk line, we won't be able to hear them. I also, right before, I was ready to hit the button to go live, and I picked up my headphones. And not that this matters at all, or that you guys need to know about it. These headphones that I keep, I keep these in the studio. Oh, see, now I can't get to focus on them. I don't know if you can even tell, they are falling apart. And I don't know when that happened. It's all flaking off of here. All of this stuff is just falling apart. And it's not like these even travel. They just hang out right here in the studio. You can see it on that one a little better maybe. So now I have to fix that. More things. Luckily, I have backup headphones. Good Lord. The amount of things that you would think could go wrong on such a stupid little, Chris says you should be able to get new ear pads. Yeah, and I've replaced them before on the ones that, go out into the world because they get beat up a little bit. You would think that the ones that just literally sit right here, and it's not like I edit audio or anything. I just sit here to do this stream, or to record some kind of video stuff. But they shouldn't be that beat up. It's crazy. But the amount of things that you would think can go wrong on this show is way lower than the things that actually do go wrong on this show. If you're just joining for the first time, welcome to the chaos. This is not a show, so if things do go wrong, we just kind of ignore it and pretend that it's supposed to be that way. I'm also going to try to get our simulcast going here because I was too busy trying to fix echoes and all kinds of things as we were going live. Well, welcome everybody. It's a happy hour. As I'm doing this, please tell me what it is that you're drinking because like any good happy hour, we do drink together. So it doesn't have to be beer. It doesn't have to be a cocktail. It doesn't have to be wine or any kind of booze at all. You can just whatever you happen to be drinking, tell us so that it feels like we're all drinking together. And then I will dive into something here in a second. I've got a couple fun ones that I want to drink. Okay, I think that's working. But now we need to check and make sure it's working and pull up the other chat. Let's see. All right. I'm rolling back here to see what everybody's drinking since I haven't been paying attention. Marco's having psychopathy. Just finished making dinner. I did not even get dinner tonight. I'm going to eat dinner after the show. Julia is having her last 2025 barley wine from West Side Brewing. I believe I still have a decent amount of that hanging out in my cellar. Actually, it's in this fridge, ready to go. I could drink it tonight. That is not the direction I was going to go. There's no reason I can't. Let's see. Josh is having a Dino Break West Coast IPA from Toppling Goliath. I don't believe I've had that before. Alex is having a Southridge Stout. I need to get it back up to Southridge one of these days. Chris is having a Braxton's Graders Black Cherry Chocolate Chip White Stout. Ooh, that's an oldie but a goodie. I need to dive into some Dark Charge. It's Dark Charge season in my house, and that means I need to start drinking through some of the stuff in the cellar so that it's ready for new Dark Charge to come in. Ryan is drinking a beer that he told me about on Friday that I was not very happy about. Ooh, I was so mad. I mean, we can. Well, let me start off with a drink, and then we will start with that topic. I didn't make any kind of graphic or anything for it, though, but we need to talk about that. Josh says that it's the only clear beer he's ever had from Toppling Goliath. That's the what is it, Dino Break? I have a little tiny glass, which is just begging for some schnapps. I don't know if this classifies as schnapps, but it definitely classifies as something close to it. This, I don't think I've cracked into this on the show, but it's been on my bar for a while. I enjoy it, but I still have not found the way that I really want to drink it. I'm assuming I need to find some kind of cocktail that I could drink this in. And I have not found that yet. Let's see. Jason says, just visited Gilligan's. They have a great variety, especially English varieties. Owner was considering getting real ale. I would love to see them get some real ale, some cask on at Gilligan's. I love Gilligan's. I've been a Mug Club member at Gilligan's for the last 2 years. I was actually just debating today if I was going to renew or not because I just don't go as much as I probably should. This is Root is the name of it. It is a, what do they call it? They don't really call it anything. They call it certified organic neutral spirits with North American herbs and pure cane sugar. And there's more details to this that we'll get into, but that is what we are cracking into today. Art in the Age, Root. It's a root beer schnapps, essentially, but not technically schnapps. A root beer liqueur, root beer inspired liqueur. They go into some of the details, which we can talk about in just a minute, but they describe it as this rustic spirit was inspired by a potent 18th century Pennsylvania folk recipe. It's an alcoholic version of what eventually evolved into birch or root beer. So this is like the predecessor of birch or root beer. They have this really cool graphic on the back that actually shows you all of the ingredients that are in there. Very artistic. And it looks like root beer. That's what we're going to drink. All right, let's get it in a glass. Okay. Jason says, I poured Wandering Monsters Belgian Ale at Riverfest. Wow, it was the best beer and perhaps the worst seller. I assume you're talking about Bossy. I assume. I believe that was the one that they had on at the tent. Okay. Let me dive into this. Oh, we got to talk about the ingredients too. Yeah, I mean it looks exactly like a root beer schnapps would look. Like root beer syrup. Like I promise it's better than root beer syrup. Okay. The ingredients here, I can already smell it. It has birch bark, smoked black tea, cinnamon, wintergreen, spearmint, clove, star anise, orange, lemon, nutmeg, allspice, cardamom, and pure cane sugar. So it's just everything that you could possibly think to throw at a bottle of booze they have done in this. So it's not root beer. And I think that like once once you kind of wrap your head around that and understand that this is not a root beer product, this is something completely different, something that, as they put it, the predecessor to root beer. Once you figure that out, I think it starts to taste a lot better for me. It is a little bit medicinal in its aroma, which it probably was supposed to be when they invented it. Not when they invented it, but when whoever, Pennsylvania, what did they say? Pennsylvania, the Pennsylvania folk? Is that a thing? Northeast Ohio Craft Beverage News says it sounds intriguing. It says everything but the kitchen sink. Josh says it sounds like it needs to be mixed with root beer for science. I have hard root beer, that's it. And actually, no, I don't. I might have drank all the hard root beer, unless there's some in the other fridge. That might be spoiling a video for this week. I forgot that I haven't posted that yet. It does smell good, but it does not. It smells like root beer adjacent product. Yeah, 100%. If you could like take root beer and make it medicinal, make it like not that this is a healthy beverage, it's still alcohol, but if you made healthy root beer, that's what this would be. It's like a root beer tonic that's good for the soul. I feel like it doesn't need to be mixed with root beer. I feel like that's the wrong way to go. And that's where I've struggled over the last however long I've owned this, is that I still can't figure out what to do with it. Like, it's okay by itself, and it's fine if you pour it over ice. But I feel like there's something that it needs mixed with that I just can't figure out. Maybe it's just like seltzer water or something. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. I think that they had some kind of cocktail recipes, maybe on their website, I'm guessing, that I did try, and I didn't love any of them. It was kind of like that green tea liqueur that I had or have. I think it's gone finally. I could never figure it out. Julia says vanilla ice cream. That's a good one, like a boozy affogato or something. That might be a good idea. I also don't want. I wouldn't want it to get lost with something else. Like, I still want this to be front and center. Jason says, Mellotone has a disappointing selection. I really wish they would brew some malt-focused beers. Street Side is fantastic. Super happy at recommendation. Is Taft's now strictly a commercial brewery? They have no tap room now. Yes. So, Mellotone, they definitely have a little bit of a West Coast leaning, personality, I guess is the way that I would put it. A lot of hoppy beers. They do have a black lager on right now, like a Schwartz beer. They just tapped recently a wet hop pale ale, which is great. I was at Mellotone this weekend for a different thing, and I drank a bunch of their wet hop pale ale because it was so good. So yes, they're definitely a hop heavy brewery. But I don't know that that's for any other reason that they just don't they don't have a big tap list, and they never will have a big tap list. So I don't know. I don't know that the malt forward beers sell the same way that hop forward beers do, and so it's probably just a factor of here's who's coming in the door, and here's what we need to sell the most of. Street Side is fantastic. I do love Street Side's malt forward personality in a lot of their beers, but they have a lot of everything for whoever happens to walk in the door. Stay tuned. We may have a Street Side Brewcast coming up in the very near future. Let's see. Is Taft's now strictly a commercial brewery? They have no tap room now. Yes. So Taft's Ale House closed. Taft's Brewporium Columbus closed, and then Taft's Brewporium Cincinnati closed. The company has morphed into a company called Impact Beverage. They make a lot of different products for other companies. They just contract for other people. So they sold off the Taft's name and the recipes and all of those brands to Sinbev, the same company that makes more the more line that you see like out in stores. They do all of the Little Kings, so Shaneling, they own that. Red Top they just brought back, and they have Uptown Light. And these are all under the same umbrella and come out of the same brewery. Hopefully that makes a bit of sense. So they're just in name only, but they make the beer. They do make beer, and it's still made here in Cincinnati and made just a few blocks away from where it was made before. So it still exists, and I think that at some point in our fairly near beer drinking life, we will see Taft's in a physical space again. That's just me saying that. I don't know anything. I'm just estimating. It's too good of a brand not to exist somewhere. But Melatonin is such a cool space, and I love the beer that they're making, and I think the food is awesome too. So it's always worth a stop. But the Wandering Monsters, Bossy is the tastings that I did at River Roots. I think Bossy was the hit in both of them. I think everybody really enjoyed that beer. I love that beer. It's a great beer, and it's hard to categorize, and I like that. And people don't really know what to think about it. Great beer. I'm going to figure this out one of these days. Probably right as I'm getting close to finishing the bottle. I'll figure out what you're supposed to do with it. It needs something. So shout out to Root. If you ever see it in the stores, I don't know if they still sell it. I've had it for a long time, but if you see it and you're curious, you should get some. Anyways, let's drink a beer. I have an empty beer glass. I was going to have you guys choose, but I chose for you because this has been teasing me for a couple weeks, hanging out in my fridge, and I want to drink it. Bottle. You don't get a lot of bottles anymore, and it sounded fun. This is from Alltech, Kentucky Ale, depending on how you know them. They make Kentucky Bourbon Barrel and lots of Kentucky Bourbon Barrel things. This is Kentucky Tangerine Cream Ale, aged in bourbon barrels, of course. I assume this is from Alltech. Maybe not. See, now I don't even know. It's brewed by the Lexington Brewing Company. That's not the same thing, right? See, I don't like this that I don't actually know who made my beer. What is the Lexington Brewing Company? Does anybody know? Let's see. Let's Google this really quick. Did they change their name? Or what? Yeah, it's Alltech. That's weird. I don't like that. I don't like it. All right. Julia says Lexington Brewing and Distilling Company is under the Alltech umbrella. Thank you. I thought that would be a very strange coincidence to have two kind of using the same branding. It's 5.5%. I'm supposed to enjoy it cold. It is cold. It's handmade. stirring it with their hands. Aged in bourbon barrels. There's a lot of stuff on this bottle. The life of the barrel, that must be like their tagline or something. Oh, evidently they have a location in Grand Rapids, Michigan, too. I did not know that. All right, let's open this thing up and see what's going on. Chris says they figured it might sell better not being made by an animal feed company. Maybe. I can tell you that this looks very dark for a cream ale. Could just be the light, though. All right. Let's get into this and see what's going on. Okay. Yeah, it's, I guess, a little bit lighter once I get it up in the light. I don't know how that shows up for you guys, but yeah, still looks kind of dark for you. I promise when I look at it through the light, it looks a little bit lighter. Okay. Oh, let me get this back over here. All right. Okay. Smells like fake tangerine. I mean, it's definitely a lot of orangey tangerine notes. Jason said, I did the free beer museum tour this Sunday. Had a lot of potential. I hope they can open up more areas and continue to involve Carillon. They are definitely going to do more. They don't know for sure where the museum will be. It will not necessarily be in that space, although that is definitely, I think, one of the spaces that they are talking about trying to get it into. But they're looking at a few different spaces in OTR right now. But yeah, I actually did not get to go through the exhibit because my weekend was so busy. However, the footage that's on that was being projected in there of the brewing process at Carillon, that's all video that I took. That's some of my work. So there's that. At least I was involved somehow. Ryan says, I don't trust Kentucky tangerines. I mean, they smell fine. I'm not getting a lot of bourbon barrel, but maybe once I taste it, I will. And then we need to talk about that beer that Ryan sent me a picture of. Mm-hmm. It's fine. There's a fly. Sorry. Yeah, not a lot of bourbon barrel. It just tastes like kind of a nice, easy drinking, refreshing tangerine ale. There's nothing wrong with that. It's an okay beer. It's not anything that like I'm writing home about. It's not anything I'm traveling to Lexington to get my hands on. But yeah, it's fine. You put a couple pints of that in front of me on a nice hot day, and I'm not going to be upset with you. Yeah, it tastes like some kind of, I don't know, like a macro beer, like something that you would get off a shelf at your favorite gas station or Kroger, and get a bunch of cans of it and just crush it by the pool. And there's nothing wrong with that. We need beers like that, but yeah, whatever. Speaking of beers, we should go ahead and we should start by talking about Oktoberfest Quest, which we wrapped up last week. I forgot that was recent. It feels like it was years ago. Our winner this week, for anybody who has not listened to this week's Cincy Brewcast, was Esoteric. I encourage you still to listen to this week's Brewcast, even though the first minute and a half, the audio is terrible. And also, later in the episode, once Esoteric does win the trophy, and Brian comes up to say a few words on the mic, that also sounds terrible. It's my fault. I will accept full responsibility for it. I have a lot of podcast mixers. This is way too in the weeds. But if anybody is a podcaster, you might appreciate some of this. I used to. So when we started our podcast, we just used just your standard analog mixer that ran into just a little handheld recorder. Actually, the very first episode we had was just that handheld recorder sitting on a desk. Actually, let's get some visual. We'll just bring all this crap over. Story time through a show and tell, a gear show and tell for everyone. Okay, when we started, we used not this exact one, but something very similar to this. Just a handheld recorder, just a little stereo recorder. This is the Zoom H1. This sat right in the middle of the table, just like this. You hit record, and as people are talking, you lean in and you talk to it. Really simple. It was very simple, but it sounds like crap. I encourage anybody that wants to start a podcast very cheap. You can go this way. However, there's better options now. This one then, we then got a better mixer, and you could run the analog mixer into this right here. So then you could have as many different microphones as you wanted in front of people, and they would all record right into here. All as one track. Pain in the butt, not a smart way to do it. But we did it that way for a very long time. Then I got a recorder, which I've since sold. That was it was a Zoom R8 R16, something like that. It was fine. It was 8 or 16 tracks, probably 8. I don't remember which one or how many it was. And it recorded every single one of those tracks onto its own separate track. This changed everything for us. It was one mixer. It all recorded right on there on a memory card. And you could then mix the whole show down however you wanted it. It was amazing. We recorded on that for maybe a year, and it was great. It was big though, and it was a little bulky for the setup that once Mike died and the show started changing a little bit, the setup that I knew that I needed to have. I needed something that was a little more compact to start getting all of our gear scaled down dramatically. So that was when I switched to this setup here. Now this thing has grown a little bit, but the basics, I'll show you here. This is the Zoom H6. Now even until very recently, I would recommend this to anybody that was starting a podcast. When you pop this guy on here, now you have 6 individual tracks on your recorder. You have 3 here, 3 here, all recorded as separate tracks, and you can mix it later. And it fits in your hand. This was so incredible, and I've used this thing a ton. I still use it sometimes, or I did until very recently. I'll explain in a second why I've stopped kind of using it. But you can also switch this, and it comes with these different little mic capsules, so you can capture different things. This now makes it a handheld recorder. You can record things. And then there's a shotgun mic that goes on it, which is still in the cabinet, but I've spent more money on this little setup than anybody should, buying all those other stupid capsules and stuff. Love that recorder. Love it dearly. But then I switched to this little setup, and this, I do love this one still too. I still do recommend this to almost everybody. This is taking the place of that one. This is the Zoom P4. I use this. I have this one. I have a backup one, and then right over here, like right off camera, you can't see it, but right behind this bottle, actually here, right here, I have the P4 hooked up just to the computer. I have a bunch of those just laying around because they get things spilled on them and they get ruined. But I've used this for probably the last I don't know. It's probably been like 4 or 5 years of the show that I've used that. Oh, I skipped a step. In between there. In between the H6 and the P4, I switched, which was where this story started. I switched to this guy. This is a great mixer. This is the LiveTrack L8, and I had this here in the studio for a long time too, because it's really easy to mix different things. And still today, I will go to that if we are doing a live show, because there's lots of outputs and lots of different options there. It's really easy to do things in a live environment. However, I only use it in a live environment now that I've switched to another P4 here in the studio. I don't use that mixer sitting on the desk anymore. If you go back to some of the early episodes of this show, you'll see the LiveTrack. Okay, we're getting nerdy over here on the Northeast Ohio Craft Beverage News page. Let's see. Blabbermalt Show is using a Motu M6 audio input. And we have a couple Rode Wireless Pro mics for remote shows. Blabbermalt says we used a P4 for a brief period when we were at Bay Studios. The LiveTrack, though, I still use it live. However, what I know this, and I should have known this, but I didn't think about it when we were there recording. This is the whole moral of this story, is that once you're recording on this mixer, you cannot add tracks. If you start recording and then somebody walks up to another microphone that you didn't turn on, you've got to you have to turn the tracks on with these little buttons down here in order for them to record into the final episode. If you don't do that beforehand, they don't record. So that's what happened at the beginning. Well, the beginning, I didn't actually hit record. And then later on in the episode, when Brian came up to the microphone, I didn't have that microphone activated for whatever reason. Because I'm an idiot. Because I've been podcasting for 11 years now, and I still just make mistakes. And maybe it's because I have all this different equipment. The one I use now, I've just recently switched to this on most episodes. And again, it all depends on how many guests we have and what we're doing. This is the new Zoom H5 Studio. So I can only get 4 guests on this though. It's got 2 inputs up here, like these little on the sides, and then 2 more at the bottom. But it records them all individual tracks, and it records them all 32-bit float, which requires a little less thinking as I'm setting up, which is nice. It's nerdy. Chris says nerdy is fine. I just finished up the installation for Emory Theater. I have a Yamaha QL5 feeding a massive K-Array audio system. Opening night was Friday. I love audio gear. It's one of the fun things, like doing this live stream. That was one of the reasons that I started kind of doing this live stream the way that I do, is that this gives me a chance to test things out. Like if I get a new piece of audio equipment, I can just work it into this. Like if I want to test out a new mixer, I can just set it right here and I can just run the mixer for the live stream and kind of see how it works. If I have a new camera that I want to test out, I throw it up to one of the camera angles and I now test that camera out. New lenses, new lighting. Like I have all of these different lights in here, different lights that I use like in my actual work, and I just get to kind of play around with them. And this is where we test all those things. But yeah, sometimes you mess up when you're out, and I hate that. So that's why this week's episode started and was a little rough in the middle, because I have too much gear that I don't use regularly enough. We'll figure it out. Julia says, okay, Marco, that's what we're buying next. You shouldn't have to buy anything next. Look, I mean, that's the thing about all of this, is that if what you have is working, you don't have to change it. I like to have different things for different situations, because I am recording so many different types of shows in different places. And then also that's part of my day job, this whole like freelance thing that I do. I'm recording a lot of stuff. A lot of it's video that needs audio also, and I'm doing that by myself. So I'm always trying to find things that can kind of make that easier and more streamlined. Blabber Malt mentioned the Rode Wireless Pro mics. I keep those in there too. I use those, the lav mics, and even just the individual recorders. I'm pretty sure I've recorded podcasts on those before. Again, it gives you individual tracks and 32-bit float, which is always awesome. There's a million ways to do anything, and if I'm recording, like a video here, and I don't want a mic in front of me, like I have different gear for that. I keep there's a whole microphone up here above all of this that you can't even see, that I don't ever use for this show. It's only here for YouTube videos. It's the only reason it exists there. But I can swap that mic out for different mics and test it out. It's not plugged in right now because I was getting weird noise today. Julia says, way to kill our dreams of having all the shiny things, Gnome. You can get whatever you want, but you don't need it. You just don't need it. Let's dive into one of the big things that I wanted to talk about tonight that we're just getting very distracted from, because I'm ranting and raving about audio equipment on a drinking podcast. This is the biggest news, I think, of the week. Chris says, I have a Shure MV7 just sitting here for Teams calls. Yeah, I feel that. That's kind of the way I was feeling with that live track sitting here. Like, it was just way overkill for a live stream setup. Heck, the P4 is way overkill for a live stream setup, but I like it, and it's here, and it's another backup piece of equipment in case one of mine gets beer spilled on it again. Biggest news to me this week in beverages, be it here in Cincinnati or in Columbus or Cleveland or wherever you live in the state of Ohio. Ohio is not happy. Government overreach. This whole THC beverage crackdown, banning, whatever we want to call it, has been, I guess, consuming my brain over the. Marco says, "Are we about to talk about all of that bullshit with the THC beverages?" Yes, we are. I am blown away that this happened, or that this can happen, or that we're all letting this happen. I'm blown away by it. I really, really thought in March of 2020, later in 2020, after I saw these shutdowns happen and I saw how it affected small businesses, I thought to myself, there is no way that anything like this could ever happen again, will ever happen again. Even if it was a very bad health risk, people aren't going to do anything like this again for it. They've completely lost faith in that whole system. And yet here we are. Governor DeWine has decided that people selling THC beverages, hemp-derived THC beverages, which are completely legal, that it is in so desperate need of reform that it is a danger to the health of this state, and it's better to just shut it down and then let it figure out instead of trying to actually do it the right way. I can't even I can't even understand how this is happening. Julia says there are apparently a lot of lawsuits and injunctions already being filed. Nothing that's going to impact the start of the ban tomorrow. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I haven't heard anything that's going to stop it. I don't know how long it'll last. My mind is blown. I did an interview last week with Bobby from 50 West to kind of talk about it, and he was way more positive than I am. Chris says it isn't that they don't want guidelines; it's just the leadership has no clue. Yeah, no guidelines. Like, look, I will be the first to put it out there that the way things are set up right now is not effective. Long term, short term, something needs to change. Blabber Malt says the people have spoken. Now leave us alone. They don't care what the people say. That's what I'm figuring out. It's not that the regulation doesn't need to happen, because it does. Technically, right now, I will tell this to anybody that wants to listen. There is no law that says kids can't buy hemp-derived THC products. There's no law that says where they can be sold or how they can be sold or what they can look like. There are no laws about what can be or can't be on the packaging, or that the numbers that are on there are even accurate. There's no laws at all for any of this. However, I know, you guys know, there are plenty of local companies that are producing these beverages that are what I'm going to call self-policing. They are putting age statements on their products. They are making sure that what is written on there is the actual amount of THC that is in the beverage. And they don't deserve to be just shut down because the state is worried that somebody else will do something in a nefarious way. Julia says the real issue is gummies, but since the way the ban was worded just as intoxicating hemp products or something super ambiguous, the beverage market is putting a halt because they can't get clarification on what is or is not banned. Julia says the drinks are already regulated somewhat based on Friday's Brew Skies Barstool perspective. They had to buy a license from the state to make it, and they have to have it tested, etc. That is just for them to produce it. I have not done a lot of research into the production side of what kind of loopholes they have to jump through. But yeah, and Bobby mentioned it on the interview last week too, that they spent a lot of money to make sure that they were doing this the right way to produce them, again, to get them tested. I don't think that the producers are the issue. I think it's the how they're being sold, how they're being marketed. And I can understand that, but the argument that the marketing on the cans is too candy-like or too much of something that is being marketed towards children, again, I can understand that, and it's wrong to market an intoxicating beverage to children. However, if we're going to go down that road, there are plenty of other products that are intoxicating products that are being marketed to children that are perfectly legal and fine. And why are we shutting this thing down and not that? And not that that should be, but I don't buy it. I think that there's way more to it than that, and it disgusts me that it's happening the way it is. That's my thoughts on it. That's the the surface level of my thoughts on this. I hate it. I know I've talked to some businesses that all they do is sell intoxicating THC products that are flat out saying that they're just going to ignore it, that they don't care. They're going to keep selling what they have and keep providing it for people, and they're going to deal with the consequences. And I think that is I don't fault them for that stance. That's probably the best way I could put it. I don't know that I agree with it, but I can't fault them for it. I mean, it says something when the state is controlling licenses for a bunch of recreational distilleries, recreational and medicinal distilleries, and they're okay with the products there. And a lot of those products are marketed the exact same way. So using that as an excuse is, I don't buy it. I think it's a lame excuse. I think that there's some money behind it that we maybe aren't privy to. Yeah, I don't know that I've got any more thoughts on that right now. I'm in the middle of a lot of THC, what I'm going to call research. I've been writing a bunch of stuff and working on a couple big kind of products for the video projects that maybe will happen. So I've been kind of focusing on all this stuff for the last, I don't know, 6 months or so, pretty heavily, and I didn't see this coming at all. Marco says, should THC gummies be shaped into vegetables or beans so that they don't seem appetizing to children? Josh says, no, just don't sell them to children. And that's kind of my thought. Like, clearly adults also like things that are candy themed or are bright colors or taste like fruity things. I don't think that's the problem. I think you just don't sell it to kids. I think it's really that simple. I think we've got this system set up, and that system is the alcohol system in this country, which has its flaws. Don't mistake what I'm saying here. The alcohol laws in this country are still very flawed. However, we have this system set up, and it's really easy, or it should be really easy, to just take these products and just pick them up and drop them into the same system that alcohol is working on. And, if it's under a certain milligram level, you can sell it, the same places you would sell alcohol. Maybe they have to buy a separate license. Maybe not. Maybe it just falls under their liquor license. But they can sell it in the same places. If it's too high, it's got to go to a dispensary or a liquor store. It seems so simple, and I don't understand what the holdup is or what the fight is about it. I don't understand it. I don't like it. And as much as you can sit and email your congressman and your governor, and it just doesn't feel like it's going to do anything, and that concerns me a lot. I don't like it. Chris says, but the state is the distributor here in Ohio. Yeah, if you're talking about high levels of THC, I think that's the way it should go. If you're selling like a 25 milligram can of weed water, I think it should probably go through the state the same way that liquor does. If it's a 5 milligram can of a seltzer, I don't think it should. I think it should be, the same way that beer is, which is self distribution is legal for beer in the state of Ohio, or you can sign with a distributor if you want to. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. The system is so simple, and they're fighting it because of money, is what I think. Now I'm all worked up. I want to talk about gold medals, and I'm all worked up. All right, let's talk about GABF. I've got my list. If you guys want to keep talking about weed water, we can, but otherwise, I want to talk about how Cincinnati fared at the Great American Beer Festival. If you don't know, Great American Beer Festival is one of the biggest, one of the most prestigious beer awards ceremonies in the country. It happens every fall, and we did really good. Ohio did great. Ohio did the best it's ever done, and Cincinnati brought home, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different medals, 12 if you want to count the collaborations for both breweries that collaborated. So about half of the medals that came back to Ohio came out of Cincinnati. I think that's pretty good. Ryan says, talk about that beer while you're worked up. Talk about this tangerine whatever. Oh, the beer. I gotcha. Okay. I keep saying I'm going to talk about it, and then I keep forgetting. All right, hold the GABF talk for just 1 minute. Since I'm already worked up, Ryan brings up a great point. Ryan sent me a message this weekend that they were grabbing a beer, having a beer somewhere, and he showed a picture of what they were drinking. And it was a 6-pack of cans. 6-pack of Saunders Märzen Oktoberfest. This isn't crazy, and it's not something that anybody should be shocked by. It's an Oktoberfest, and that's great. However, if you aren't aware, if you weren't listening earlier, every single year I do something I call Oktoberfest Quest. This is a search through every packaged Oktoberfest beer in the city of Cincinnati. I run them all through a bracket until one is crowned the winner. The last, not including this year, the last 4 years, is that right? Yeah, the last 4 years have bounced back and forth between two breweries. Sonder, Madry. Sonder, Madry. Sonder has hosted this event a couple times. Once. Is it once or twice? I don't even know. Doesn't matter. They've hosted the event. I do a show at their Oktoberfest festival every single year. I did one this year. Just, not even a month ago? Sat down and did a show. I had no idea that this beer was being put into packaging. It went, it's a collaboration with Dorothy Lane Market, so I'm assuming it's only available at Dorothy Lane Market. I don't care. It's still in packaging. It should have been part of the quest, and it wasn't. This is the first time that I feel like I have failed on this quest. There was a packaged Oktoberfest beer, and it didn't make it into the bracket. It didn't even have a chance to make it into the bracket because I didn't know it existed. Now I'm letting myself feel like it wouldn't have anyways, that it was released too late. I don't know that that's true, but that's what I'm saying to make myself feel better about it. I'm still like fuming at this idea that there was an Oktoberfest beer that I didn't know about. I get that, like, as the city keeps growing and as there's more and more breweries and more places that are packaging at different scales and stuff, that eventually it's going to happen. It has to happen. I still don't like it though. Man, I don't like it. It gets under my skin for a lot of different reasons. Just from the quest perspective, I like it. I like being able to say that it's complete. That I tried, and I did try their merits, and I had it on draft at the brewery. So I did try it, but not in the context of a quest, and not next to something else. And I'm a firm believer that if you're going to say something is the best, you have to try them all. And I feel like I came up a little short on that this year. Not to take away from Esoteric's win. It is a well-deserved win. In fact, I think I've got some of it sitting right there that I kind of want to drink now. It just feels weird. And I think I'm trying not to go too deep into this, but like there's friendships with a lot of these breweries too, and Sonder is definitely one of them. There are people at Sonder, there are people that were at Sonder that I consider friends, and so like when that communication breaks down too, man, it really kind of, I don't know. It gets under my skin. It makes me feel some type of way. Like I feel like there are some places that even like, the day that they are brewing their Oktoberfest, they're texting like my personal cell phone, sending me a text message, and it's a picture of them mashing in or something. It's like, hey man, we're making our Oktoberfest. We're thinking about you. It's gonna be a good one this year, and it's like that's something that like a friend does because they know how much this whole thing means to me. And or like, hey, just so you know, like ours is in packaging. It's coming out next week. Like that's something that makes my life easier to help me know when I need to go places. It's helpful. It's a friendly thing that helps me do this whole competition, which is it's crazy to complain about it because I'm just drinking a bunch of beer, but it's really, really tough to make it around a 40-ish mile bubble from downtown Cincinnati to pick up 37 Oktoberfest this year, I think, to pick up cans of those on or around when they're released. To buy them with my own money. I don't people aren't buying me these beers for the most part. There have been beers that have been bought. We always disclose that. Spending a lot of money to make this happen. Spending a lot of gas to make it happen. And it's not like I'm just walking into a tap room and picking up a 6-pack, buying it, and then walking out the door. I'm hanging out. I'm having a beer. I'm having some food. I'm hanging out at the brewery when I'm buying the beer. To make all of this happen is a little complicated and a lot of work. And so like when people can make any part of that easier on me, I appreciate it. When there are people that I consider friends that release a beer that I didn't even know about, I don't like it. I don't like it. Zach Hawley over at Northeast Ohio Craft Beverage News says, so glad that Esoteric won. It's a great beer. It is an absolutely wonderful Oktoberfest, and none of this is supposed to take away from them winning. Even that, they, you look at like when a brewery like Esoteric wins, and I wouldn't call anybody at Esoteric my friends. We're friendly, and I definitely have a lot of respect for them, and they have always been wonderful to help me out with stuff, and they've definitely given me beers over the years and bought me beers when I'm in the tap room and stuff like that, and that's all wonderful. But I wouldn't call them friends. But sure enough, like they are the type of place that like when the beer is coming out, they'll make sure a 6-pack is set aside. So even if they go through it quickly, it's there for me. They're that type of place, and like it makes my life easier. Like I just need I need more people around me that make my life easier and not harder. I have 2 small children. They make my life hard enough. I need people that make it easier. I'm going to need to open another beer before we talk about Great American Beer Fest. And we're also going to go way over time because we got to talk about Great American Beer Fest. And I got to drink a beer. So sorry. If you have to bug out and go to bed, feel free. Let's see. Oh, Marco is talking about Great American Beer Fest. I missed that comment, but yeah, we'll talk about Third Eye. All right, whatever I pour in here is going to taste like tangerines and maybe a splash of barrel. I don't get bourbon. Should I go Oktoberfest or do I go just something from the random shelf? You guys tell me, and I'm watching both chats. Whoever tells me first, Oktoberfest or non-Oktoberfest. That's how we'll go. I'm watching back and forth. I don't know which. I do know which ones. The Northeast Ohio craft beverage news stream is definitely delayed. Julia says random shelf. Zach says, don't worry about going overtime. It's not a show. You're right. And I got the hiccups. All right. Random shelf it is. All right. From the random shelf. That's all right. Blabbermalt and Zach both said random shelf too. Everybody likes the random shelf. I don't know what the dates on these are, so hopefully this is not too old. Why do you not date your beers? Okay. That doesn't even seem right. Maybe it's underneath this stupid Jungle Gym sticker. The barcode stickers that cover up parts of the can, if you're actually covering up a date on there too, that makes me grumpy. This shouldn't matter if it's a little bit old. Yeah, I don't see a date anywhere. It's fine. It's fine. Doesn't matter. I'm obsessing over the date when it doesn't matter. This is from High Grain. High Grain, great little Cincinnati brewery, which we will talk about great Cincinnati breweries. This is Schwarzbier 2. I don't know why it's Schwarzbier 2. It's called Lone Star. If somebody knows why it's Schwarzbier 2, please let me know. Because they've had Lone Star out before. It is a Schwarzbier, a black lager, 5.3%. It on the back it says it is dark, malty, and dry. A Schwarz beyond compare. This nebulous dark lager with light color head will make you lose the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps. Okay. Let's see. Marco says new game gusher, not a gusher. No, it's not going to gush. It's not going to be that old. Look at that. Okay. GABF. It was a big year, as I mentioned before, for Ohio and for Cincinnati. Northeast Ohio Craft Beverage News says Spaceballs reference. Absolutely. Zach says, just curious, did you get a VIP invite to the soft opening of Cooper's Hawk in Green Township? I got one, and it was a wonderful 7-year anniversary dinner for my wife and I. Way behind the scenes, but I did get an invite. However, I was spending time with the family, so I did not go. I had to turn the invite down. My wife was very disappointed about that, too. My wife loves Cooper's Hawk, and she would have liked to go with me and drink wine. However, she would have also then been annoyed because if I had gone, I would have spent the whole time making YouTube videos and talking into a camera or a phone. And that is not a good date. No, we did not go. We do love Cooper's Hawk, though. All right, let's taste this beer and then we'll talk about some metals. It is no surprise. It's black. It's a Schwarzbier. Super dark. If I can find where to put it, right there. Super dark, big tan head, big bubbly tan head. Good looking beer. It smells like chocolate. I usually don't get a ton of chocolate from Schwarzbiers, but oh yeah. All right, let me taste it. Josh says Schwarz 2 is a black BMW color, apparently. Okay. I mean, that would make sense, I guess. I learned this weekend. I don't remember which tasting it was in. That was, I believe, the second tasting, so I believe Julia was there. I learned that, was it BMW or Volkswagen that makes a ketchup? I think it was I feel like it was BMW makes ketchup, which I thought was pretty interesting. Yeah, I like this a lot. Marco says, what does a podcaster have to do to get an invite to stuff happening in the city? Northeast Ohio Craft Beverage News is enjoying an urban artifact, cabriolet. Olay. I don't know how to pronounce it, but yeah, I love me some urban artifact beer. Julia says it was Volkswagen. To get invited to things, that's a great question. Number one, you have to play the game that they want you to play, and that game can come a little naturally if you are making content in the places that they are wanting to get the content out. That's important. Spoiler alert, podcasts are not those spots. The only reason that some of my podcasts garner attention is, number one, because Cincy Brewcast has been around for so long, it people just know about it, and that's just that's just because it's been around forever. And then this show, because it's on Facebook, it's streamed to places that they want people to know about them. And to be fair, I don't have anybody that's reaching out to invite me to things because of the Weekly Pint. Even though the Weekly Pint does great with traffic, but people aren't inviting me to things because of the Weekly Pint. They invite me to things because of Cincy Brewcast and because of the website. And, well, I shouldn't even say the website, because of the Gnome. The social media and the website, I guess, go hand in hand. But you have to you gotta be the places that they want you to be. At the same time, for some of these things, why do you want to be invited? That's maybe more important to kind of understand. It took me a while to kind of figure out the things that I should say no to, the things that I want to say no to, and the things that I will say no to. And those are all very different categories and very tough sometimes to understand the difference between them and why those differences have to exist. And then after you figure that out, then you can figure out the things that you say yes to. And that's tough sometimes. There are plenty of places that that offer me free stuff to come and talk about them or their business or their product that you have to turn down because it doesn't make sense. There are other things that you should turn down because your audience doesn't want to hear you talk about it, and it starts to feel fake. I also struggle sometimes with I enjoy talking about things or writing about things or making videos about things that aren't the same thing that everybody else is talking about. And so sometimes there is, we can talk about Manscaped in just a minute. Sometimes there is an event or a product or a place that reaches out and would be a really, really, really good thing to talk about. Something that would match my channel, my content, the things that I think you guys would like to hear about, that I will either turn down or make it clear that I'm more than happy to go, but I'm not going to talk about it because everybody else is. And so that's also a kind of a weird balance for me. And that's just for the thing inside my brain that likes to make stuff. I don't want to make the same thing that everybody else is. Now, if everybody else makes something this week, and I can sit and I can watch how they're making it and what they're making and what they're talking about, and then I can attack it in 2 weeks from today and find my own way to do it. Sometimes I can justify it that way. Again, we're getting way too nerdy about behind baseball. Julia points out Manscaped. Yes, I have taken sponsorship money from Manscaped in the past. Sponsorships are difficult, and there are some sponsorships, like Manscaped, that I think are funny enough that they can work into certain content that I do. Now, with that, I think Manscaped would have been a much better sponsor for a show like this than they would have or were for Cincy Brewcast. However, they wanted the Cincy Brewcast numbers, and that was all they cared about. And I struggled with a little bit. I didn't want they were sponsoring Cincy Brewcast. I probably could have done better for myself and for Manscaped if I had pushed it in more places. At a certain point, though, it's kind of offensive to me that you're not even paying attention to the content that you're advertising on and understanding where your best place to advertise is. And so then I don't want to do it anymore. And for the record, I stopped working with Manscaped because of that. It just offends me when people don't when they don't pay attention. They bounced me through like 3, I think, different people that were like my go-to people. Marco says the Manscaped advertisement in the middle of a bachelorette party at Braxton during a live event was hilarious. That was good. That was pretty good. But if you're Manscaped and you don't, you're not listening to the content and not understanding how it all kind of fits in, I don't have patience for it. I think there are better ways that they could have gotten their message across. Julia says I did like that one. Marco says I think it was Big Sis. It was definitely Big Sis. Okay, we're over an hour. Let's talk about GABF. Ohio, Cincinnati, taking over the world. Out of the 21 Ohio medals, we have, again, depending on how you count it, 10 different medals that were coming out of Cincinnati. I'm going to roll through the full list, and then we'll talk about kind of how to break this all down. And full disclosure, I will probably be talking about some of this on next week's episode of Cincy Brewcast too. Okay, let's start with Brink. This is all alphabetical because that's how I make my notes. Brink won for two beers that are no strangers to winning medals. I lost a light. That's the same light that kicked off last week, and I don't know why, because it's plugged in. There's no reason it should turn off. It might be getting too hot, maybe. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I'm not distracted by it. Little Zoomy and a beer that has won a couple medals, Moozy. Both taking gold medals. Little Zoomy in coffee stout or porter, and Moozy in sweet stout or cream stout. Both exactly the styles that you would expect them to win in. Narrow Path in Loveland. If you haven't been to Narrow Path, get to Narrow Path. They're making such good beer. They won a silver medal for their Polar Bear coffee beer. Rheingeist, this is a big one for me, gets my mind going a whole bunch of different ways. 2 medals. They have a silver for an Irish-style red ale called Ring of Kerry, which I don't think I've ever tried. And then a bronze medal for Ghost Pills. We'll talk about that. We will talk about them winning for Ghost Pills. Street Side, they won a gold medal for Sofa King. They're one for a strong red ale. It is red IPA is what I call it in my notes. Third Eye still racking up the medals. They have a silver for Wired Euphoria, coffee stout or porter. They have a gold medal for Gord Darnit, their pumpkin beer. And they have a gold medal for Higher Consciousness, their Scotch ale. And then we have 2 collaboration medals. We have a gold medal for Third Eye Municipal Brew Works, Route 4 Revive Ale. They brewed that for when Third Eye was coming to Hamilton. They teamed up and made a beer to celebrate it, and it won a freaking gold medal at GABF. It's so cool. And then they have a bronze medal for a collaboration between Narrow Path and Third Eye, Mounds of Importance. Also not a stranger to medals. There's a lot to unpack with this. This is probably like a full episode in itself. Let's see. Northeast Ohio Craft Beverage News says, it's wild how many coffee beers won out of Cincy. Seems like a theme there. I think coffee beers in Ohio is very strange. Like, I think that there is a higher concentration of award-winning coffee beers that come out of Ohio than anywhere else. And I don't know why, and I don't have data to back that up right now, but it's something that's on a list for me to figure out one of these days. All right, let's start with Brink. My takeaways here. So Little Zoomy's doing great, but Moozy has won. At this point, how many? I have to pull up the spreadsheet to see how many medals this beer has won. Let's see. Moozy, it is definitely the most award-winning beer in this city. It has won. Oh, I've got it sorted alphabetically. That's a pain in the butt. Moozy has won 17 different medals over its life. 17. And of those, actually, this is not going to be easy to pull up. Of those, how many of them are... I just saw somebody called. Sorry, guys. I didn't have the... If you called, you can call back. The phone is on. It's just it wasn't on my headphones. Yeah, I can't pull up that number really quickly right now. But 17 medals. It is the most award-winning beer in the city of Cincinnati, by a fairly decent Fairly decent stretch. Marco says, I feel like it was 7 GABF medals for Muzi. It was mentioned when they were announced. That sounds right. Let's see. Pull my notes back up. That's probably my biggest takeaway from Brink is Muzi still winning, Brink still winning. Brink has won a medal at GABF every single year since they've been open. That's kind of wild, and they don't seem like they're slowing down with it either. Narrow Path has always been a little sneaky, racking up medals, and I feel like they don't get the credit for that. Rheingeist Ghost Pills. Okay. Ghost Pills is a non-alcoholic beer. There we go. Northeast Ohio Craft Beverage News says Muzi won 6 GABFs, gold 4 times, bronze twice. Is that counting this year or not counting this year? Because on my list on the website, I don't have this year on there yet. That's one of the things that I'm hoping to get done tomorrow is updating that page. I have a page on the website where I track everybody's medals, and it's hard to keep up with sometimes. So Ghost Pills, non-alcoholic, which we know non-alcoholic is growing and it's crazy, but this is a beer that they technically don't make, and they've been very honest about the fact that they are using a contract partner to produce their non-alcoholic beer. They haven't really, they don't talk about it, but I'm pretty confident that the gold medal award-winning non-alcoholic beer and the bronze medal award-winning non-alcoholic beer are both made by the same company. I give them credit for winning, obviously, but it does bring up this very strange kind of, if you win for a beer that is made somewhere else, even if it's your recipe or your beer, like, how do you not mention the other place? Like, shouldn't they get some kind of credit too? Ryan says Third Eye also won Brewer of the Year for 2,000 to 5,000 barrels. Great point, yes. Brewery of the Year is a huge deal, and it means that you won more medals than anybody else in that category. Third Eye is quickly moving up as far, actually, I believe, both ways that I would count it on my spreadsheet. Let's see. We're going to sort this. Now I've got the phone sitting there, so making noise. Yeah, okay. So as far as the most award-winning breweries in the city of Cincinnati, this is a very strange number to kind of figure out. There are how many awards a brewery has won, and then I have a whole separate score, a spreadsheet that feeds another score into this spreadsheet that is the quality of award, for lack of a better way to put it. We have a phone call. Hey, you're on the Weekly Pint. Who's this?
Hello, Noam. It's Marco.
It's Marco. How you doing, Marco?
Good, buddy. I called in because, man, I love talking about the Cincinnati winners for GABF, especially since I feel like I was the only guy who was sitting there watching, trying to keep everybody up to date, who follows my Facebook page. So that means my mom and like my sister. But I called in specifically because you were saying that the NA category, the third place finisher, the bronze award, was Rheingeist.
Right.
And then the first place finisher, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, was Untitled Art. Am I right?
No, the first place was Deschutes, if I remember correctly.
Deschutes.
And then the second place was Untitled Art.
Second place is Untitled Lark. And then you were saying, well, if the first and third are related, then shouldn't the other get any of the credit? So if I'm following it right, let's pretend a beer won a blue ribbon for their product, but they're contract brewed. Should that contract brewery also receive recognition for that blue ribbon beer?
Yes.
Okay.
That is
Fine.
my
All right.
question to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, so, you know, if there were awards for THC beverages in other states in Ohio, and the contract arm of Urban Artifact was the one to produce that beer or that product,
Right.
should Urban Artifact's contract arm get recognition for the award?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess what we're saying is somehow, some way, it should be mentioned that it could be somebody else's licensed product, that it was made somewhere, so they should get some sort of recognition. Now, typically,
it's
that
also
recognition happen on the back end, as far as like if you're trying to attract more, say, contract partners. Like, is that used as a
I don't know. Is it?
You would tout?
Are you allowed to? Is there some kind of contract written where you aren't allowed to? I don't know. But it's also,
I don't know either.
To me, it's different. Like, if you're the case that I've seen a lot with contract breweries is like you'll have a brewery that makes a beer in-house. We'll use Brink, for example. Okay, Brink has made Moozy since they opened their doors. Clearly an award-winning beer. That beer has also been contract brewed by other contract partners. The beer that is won at GABF has never been a beer that has been brewed by a contract partner. It's been stuff that comes out of the brewery, and they send that to GABF. That's a little different as far as a contract partner beer winning an award versus something that is 100% only made at a contract partner. And Rheingeist has been open about that. It's in some of the marketing material. They don't make it. They won't make it. It's done somewhere else. It's just a little different.
I think it's a little bit different though, because I think everybody would be okay in admitting that the product coming out of Brink itself is possibly different by a degree to somebody that's contract making it.
I don't think the contract partner would be okay with saying that.
Well, but regardless of who the contract partner was, you know, originally or now or indifferent, it doesn't matter. But the fact that Rheingeist isn't making it in-house at all, you know, it's still a Rheingeist label branded product,
right?
But is only made at this one place. So the consistency is there. Like it's the product nonetheless.
Right.
Right. There's no alternative place.
Right.
And I don't know if that means that clearly, because that's the contract, Rheingeist is going to get the praise, and good for them. And I had the beer a few weeks ago. I think we shared it on the pod. I forget.
I did not try it with you. It was one of those weeks that I wasn't there.
Yeah, I think it was. It was a fine non-alcoholic product. I'm very happy that there's one that's branded locally, and for it to get recognition as it being such a new product. It's only hit distribution in the past month or two, or less. So that's really cool. But that's sort of what I wanted to call in and just sort of banter about.
Also, like, who do you think is pushing that being a beer that is entered into GABF? Do you think Rheingeist is pushing that, or do you think the contract partner is pushing that? Like, it's not It's not overly
Yeah.
it's not overly expensive for a place like Rhinegeist to enter it, but it's also not cheap to enter a beer. And you have a limit on how many beers you're allowed to enter, right?
You do have a limit, and it is not cheap. I forget the limit, but I feel it's under 10.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
almost positive it's under 10. I think it was like 6 or something.
6 probably. I feel like it's $150 per entry, maybe. I could be wrong about that as well.
And you got to get the beer there.
And you got to get the beer there. Yeah, that's the other thing.
So, is that something that Rhinegeist is pushing to help push their non-alcoholic beer, or is that something that the contract partner is pushing? I feel like,
I would say probably Rhinegeist. It wasn't OCBA like 2 months ago, or was it 3 months ago?
it was a few months ago, I think.
2 months ago.
Yeah.
I heard that the Rhinegeist line of NA had a presence there, and they were pushing the presence and trying to get that product into attendees' hands. I don't know. I wasn't there, but I could see that as a precursor to a marketing strategy to get out to GABF with that as well. I mean that could be something in their plans, in their marketing strategy to try and to hit that. The other thing is too, when the categories were announced at GABF, every category was announced, and then all of the number of entrants were announced as well. So what's really cool is if you're a brewery that's trying to strategize, when you have a category like, let's say, hazy IPA with, I don't remember the exact number, let's say it's 300 entrants, and then you get a red ale category with 30 entrants. Like you can start to identify categories where maybe next year you feel like you make a good product, but you can see that across all entrants you have a lower number of entrants, so your beer might have an opportunity to stand out ahead of fewer beers.
Right.
And so the NA category was one, I feel like, and I could be misremembering, even though it was 2 days ago, I feel like the NA category didn't have an enormous field of entrants.
I don't think I put that in my notes. Let me look. No, I didn't. It's also why we see beers like Happy Amber that win for English. What did it win for? Was it an English mild or something like that? That's why we see it winning in different categories than just amber ale. If you find
there was somebody else. There was somebody else that stood out like a sore thumb.
Rhinegeist.
No, wait,
it was not in GABF though. I don't think it was in a different competition.
No, it was this year. It was this year that wasn't it? Oh shit! Wasn't it Sierra Nevada?
Oh, that was last year. It won for what did they call it? It was not a pale ale.
Somebody this year.
Oh, somebody will remember in the chat. But somebody
this year won for a very uncharacteristic category. Like, wait a minute.
That happens though. Rhinegeist entered Cheetah in as a cream ale.
Cream ale.
Which,
it's a cream ale.
It's not even Cheetah's a lager. Like, how does a lager win as cream ale? Like, it doesn't. I don't like that part of competition and the way it works and the way it makes more sense to be dishonest about what the beer actually is.
Right. Well, like I was saying, shout out to BC's, because BC's put out on social media that they were going to watch live the results. So I went to watch the results live. It was really cool being there because I was sitting there with Brian and Caleb, and we were watching all the results come in, and so it was really fun for everybody in the tap room. Even though there was an Ohio State game going on, everybody in the tap room was actually there to see how Cincinnati beers turned out in the GABF, and so it was really cool. And it was just a fun 2 hours to really be excited about what's happening in Cincinnati beer. So that was fun.
I love that, and I want to see more of that. I want to see more events where people are kind of getting behind stuff like that and embracing that kind of not the overly nerdy side of beer culture, but some of the nerdiness of it that we've lost. That we got to bring it back. And like if you're gonna do it around anything, something like GABF is a good thing to do it around. I mean,
it seems like a natural fit for, at some point, every brewery that sends beers to GABF could have a watch party, and your regulars, the people that love your beer, whether you win an award or not, you can banter about how good your beer is. Have you ever had this other brewery's beer? You know, whatever it is, it seems like a good just way to connect over drinking local and also non-local about some of these, because some of these beers that won are just iconic. Like, you got to sit there and say, yeah, I imagine that's, or yeah, the last time I had is it was amazing, or that's classic to the style or whatever. There's some of those that you got to give it up to the greats. But
I just don't know I don't know why, like, more places like Brink or Third Eye, or these places that, like, have a really good shot at winning a medal because that's what they do. I don't know why they don't throw like watch parties to hang out in the tap room and watch the awards, and just put on every beer that you sent to GABF. Put them on tap. Put on like a sixtel of each one of them, and when they're gone, they're gone.
Yeah.
And then while you're watching it, like, if they win, that beer is immediately on right there for you to sit there and drink.
Yeah.
Like, it would be so
too.
fun.
Street side too. There's beers that I don't know if people at Street Side ever get to drink that Street Side sent. I mean, that'd be a perfect opportunity for those beers to be on tap and have really a fun day with the people that care about your brand. That's the thing, is an event like that can really connect, just build connections, and everyone's trying to find out what activates somebody to come to your brewery or to hang out. What activates some of those regulars is that they're passionate about you and your brand, and they care about whether, what you feel is important. And in an event like that, I know it's in the middle of the day. I know it's from like 12 to 2 on a Saturday. In this past weekend's example, it may be hard for some of those diehard regulars who are there shutting your tap room down at 12 or 1 a.m. to come back, but they would. Yeah. They would come back and to hang out with all the regulars that love what you do, and to be cheerleaders for your brand. They would absolutely do that.
I agree 100%. As we wrap things up, let's talk about Third Eye a little bit. Third Eye taking home a shit ton more medals.
Yeah,
they have now officially become not even just now. Like, I think they had it before. Honestly, the most award-winning beer in the city. No, that's what I was talking about before you called. So depending on how you count it, so there are a lot of big breweries in town that have sent beers out to a lot of different awards. And before this festival, Mad Tree was technically the most award-winning brewery in the city of Cincinnati, based on the number of awards. However, even before this one, I have a weighting system to give every award some kind of value based on my own personal thoughts about how important that award is. Your
personal record book.
Yes, my personal weighting system of how important the award is. And with that, Third Eye was always, not always, but was the most award-winning brewery in town. There is no arguing it now. They now have officially brought home 78 different medals from different competitions. And Madry has brought home 77 medals from different competitions. So it is official.
Wow.
As of right now, Third Eye is the most award-winning brewery in Cincinnati's history ever. Like in complete history of Cincinnati existing and Cincinnati brewing existing. It's pretty crazy.
So when you combine Third Eye and Brink, how heavy would the casket need to be if we're carrying all of Kelly's medals?
A lot. It would be very heavy. Very, very, very
Extremely heavy.
Josh
Yeah.
says, and it's very much deserved too. It is. Just talking about GABF, Cincinnati has won, 62 medals at GABF over the years. And that's, again, dating all the way back through the history of GABF. If you take just Brink and Third Eye, they've won 43% of those medals. So 27, more than 33%, more than 43%, I mean. 27 of the 62 medals lay between Brink and Third Eye. That's insane. That is like that's insane. And it does say something that it's not just those two breweries. There are some cities where there is like one brewery that just performs really well and wins a bunch of medals and maybe gets people talking about that city a little bit. And yes, we have two breweries that win a lot of medals, but the other half of those medals are still spread around other breweries. Like that's good. Like that's a good position to be in. We have let's see if Sinbev, so some of the brands that they own, there's 7 medals that are at Sinbev. Rheingeist has brought home 5. This is all GABF, obviously. Rheingeist has 5 different GABF medals over the years. Narrow Path has 4 over the years. Madry has 3. 50 West has 2. Listerman had 2. That sucks. Sonder had 2, or has 2. Streetside has 2. Taft's has 2. Oh, that should go into Sinbev now. So Sinbev has 9. Big Ash has 1. 8 Ball had 1. Fretboard has 1. Main Street Brewing Company, shout out to Main Street Brewing Company, they had 1. Municipal now has 1. And Wandering Monsters has 1. So like that's a good little spread of some older breweries from history, some newer breweries, some brand new breweries. It's good. Like Cincinnati is a good place to drink beer.
I also want to say I truly apologize for not listing Municipal in that collaboration. It was happening so fast that I could only type one name and then just like keep moving on. But Municipal winning a medal in the collaboration beer,
That's
I'm
big.
so happy because Sean Willingham, somebody that in the industry, I know has always treated me super fantastic. And anytime I see him, he's just, really gracious to me and has been so for, all the years I've been, in and around this industry. And so I'm so very happy that he has a GABF award that he and his team can celebrate because they've been making really great beer from the time that they opened. And, that's really exciting. And it was an omission on my part, which I feel terrible about. And so this is my public mea culpa for not putting them in my my stream of consciousness that I was doing on the day. But it's just I'm just excited for them. I'm happy for them.
It's well deserved.
And everybody in the area that's gotten an award, I can say I've had most of the offerings. I can't say I've had all of them. Some of them are, special to, to the tournament, so to speak. And then some of the places I haven't been to, like Big Ash. I haven't been there, and I would have loved to have had the beer that they got an award for. But
Vienna Lager, I
shout
believe.
out to them. Shout out to
if
them.
I remember
Doing
right.
Great stuff. And
Yeah.
when's that pizza place going in there?
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't been over there for a while to check out what's going on, but at some point, turn into La Rosa's and Big O's.
Right. Yeah. So, anyways, I don't want to keep you long. I'll let
Yeah,
you go.
we're gonna wrap up here. We're almost at 2 hours.
Yeah, I could talk about this forever, so I'm gonna get off here, man. Cheers, buddy.
Yeah, we'll see you soon, man.
All right, see you soon.
All
Bye.
right, cheers. Yeah, I mean, like, it seems crazy to like have to point out that there's good beer coming out of Ohio or Cincinnati. Okay, so Northeast Ohio Craft Beverage News is pointing out Fatheads GABF 35 medals in their history, which is incredible. Some pretty good stuff being made by Matt Cole and company up here in this corner of the state as well. It's not to take away from what's happening up there because clearly Fatheads knows what they're doing. Like it's an incredible run that they've had with medals. But this is a Cincinnati podcast, and I've been accused over the years of being what people called Homer, and I've accepted that, and I'm okay with it. I love Cincinnati beer. Now, you put me on a bar stool at Fatheads, which I've never been, full disclosure. You put me on a bar stool at Fatheads, and I'm probably going to be very happy drinking their beer too. There's, Ohio deserves way more credit than it gets. And I think that there are a lot of breweries that are working very hard to get us to that point. So shout out to all of them. Shout out to all of the breweries that are making great beer that they've never even sent one to GABF. They will never send one to GABF or any other awards. It's fine. We still appreciate we still appreciate you. We still love you. Good beer is good beer, and it doesn't matter if it wins an award or not. Just keep making good beer. Keep helping us. Keep helping us push Cincinnati and Ohio and wherever you are forward. When I travel, I'm drinking your beer wherever you are. So keep making good beer there too. But I'll preach Cincinnati beer when I'm sitting at your bar stool. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. I'm sorry this was such a long episode. Between the root schnapps, whatever we're calling it, between the whole weed water explosion thing that is happening right now, there was a lot of big things we needed to talk about. So sorry it took so long. I was camping this weekend, and I had a couple stories from camping that I was hoping to tell that I just didn't have time to. Sorry. Maybe we'll talk about them next week. I'll probably forget about them. It's fine. But shout out to all of you for helping make this show, and all of my shows, but this show, for helping make this a thing and for keeping it rolling. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me every week, for making Monday nights something a lot more special than they used to be pre-Weekly Pint. I love Monday nights now, so thank you for that. That helps my week kick off in the right way. If you like this, if you like any of the stuff that I do, go to thegnarlygnome.com/support. There is a free tier you can sign up on there. And even with the free tier, you can get some stuff early. I'll put exclusive posts up there. There's a lot of fun stuff that is already happening there. And in the future, I have so many plans for things that will go to Nomi's first or exclusively. I'm working really hard to kind of build this whole thing and try to keep finding ways that I can keep making more content, because this is what I love. I love sitting around and I love talking about beer with you guys and booze with you guys and helping spread the word of all of this. So the only way that keeps growing is through the help of people like you. So thank you, especially for those of you who do support already. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know that things sometimes don't move as quickly as we want them to. I'm working on it. And if you haven't noticed, I've been leaning really hard into the podcast side right now, trying to make sure I can figure out that schedule to make the shows when they need to happen. Cincy Brewcast will probably never be a weekly show ever again. Probably. But I'm trying to figure out ways to balance that and drinking with the gnome and make it happen. So thank you. Thank you very much. And we will be back next week, and we'll do this again. We'll probably talk about some booze, probably talk about some beer. Who knows? We'll see you then. Cheers, everybody. See you next week. If I was a GABF and I was giving a medal, you guys would all win gold. Gold medal, every one of you. Except Marco. Marco gets silver.